What a race that was. Complete opposite of the sprint yesterday. First of all, Max Verstappen, he spun out and DNF'd, I think first lap it was, because the track was a little bit wet. Also, for some reason, rain just seems to escape Grand Prix because it was supposed to rain at some point during the race, but it just didn't rain. Anyway, I don't know what's happening with McLaren and Oscar because during the red flag, they put him on hards, which meant he could basically go the entire race and he didn't need to pit again. But then when George pit for hards, they then pit him immediately after, and it was a slow pit stop, and it was honestly so unnecessary. I think that they could have held out for so much longer with Oscar on those hards. I hope this race showed the race directors that they need to show us more of what's happening in the midfield, because the midfield was battling almost all throughout the race and it was quite entertaining. I am so glad that Lewis has finally had it with Ferrari and their shenanigans. He had so much pace on the hards and they just wouldn't do team orders. And Charles was backing him up, on top of the fact that in the first lap, Charles squeezed Lewis, who then had to squeeze Max. It's so unnecessary. He was yelling on the radio, and that is so uncharacteristic of him, but also just shows Ugutinai he's sick and tired of the fact that he's being used as a guinea pig. He even literally said, am I being used as a guinea pig? What's going on? Why are you keeping me out for so long? Why are you not pitting him? This is when he was leading and he got passed by Norris and then Antonelli soon after. And that final VSC cost us a podium place. I fully think that Lewis on the softs would have gotten George on the hards. However, there was like a VSC 3 laps to go. But I'm quite curious to see what he's going to say during his post-race interviews, because he was not happy. And even his post-race, when Santi was like, oh, we were unlucky there with George, he's like, no, we were not unlucky. We lost time earlier on. So that's not unlucky. And I'm like, yeah, call them out. Call them out. This is why they haven't won a championship in 2 decades, because he's literally second. He's tied now with George for second in the Drivers' Championship. And they just keep on prioritizing Charles. Like,